You have a very inspirational story, not just about yourself, but also regarding your son.
Well, it's always funny how you look at anyone in this industry. Most of us have come to this point because we needed to heal ourselves or someone close to us. Things started going downhill. Then I fast forward to going through 3 pregnancies, which your body's saying, I don't care about you. I care about what you're carrying right now. And so I'm going to sacrifice you.
God is using you right now. And sometimes, you have to break something in order to build it back up stronger and better than ever before. That's exactly what happened with you. The human body is incredible. We were designed to thrive, not just get by and survive and create disease. When we have disease, there is dis-ease, there is dysfunction, and it doesn't just show up overnight. There's a cause, and then it develops over time as an effect. Hey Keto Camper, Ben Azadi here, best-selling author of 3 books, founder of Keto Kamp. I'm super excited to bring on Sara Banta for an interview that will tug at your heartstrings. She has an incredible story on how she was able to go from pain to purpose to promise, not only rescuing her own health, but her son as well. And she shares why keto made a big difference in her health and her life. She talks about energy-based healing. We talk about the importance of iodine and so much more. Sara Banta completed her undergraduate studies at the Stanford University with a degree in economics and psychology in 1998. In 2016, she graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and the Invincible Wellness System. Sara has created a company called Accelerated Health Products, where she is helping others heal their body with nutritional supplements and energy-based healing. So let's talk all about this with Sara Banta. Sara Banta, welcome to the Keto Kamp Podcast.
Thank you so much, Ben, for having me on. I'm excited for this.
Yes, I am excited too. You have a very inspirational story, not just about yourself, but also regarding your son. First of all, let's share your story. Share with my audience exactly your journey to today and what you're doing in this world.
Well, it's always funny how you look at anyone in this industry. Most of us have come to this point because we needed to heal ourselves or someone close to us. And I grew up in a family of 4 kids, and I was always the one that just was either a picky eater or I knew something was wrong. Food just didn't settle with me all right. I was doing what I thought was the right thing to do, avoiding fat and eating tons of sugar, but it was quote unquote healthy, right? And you can get away with that for a long time as a child. But then I get into college and things started going downhill. Then I fast forward to going through 3 pregnancies, which your body's saying, I don't care about you. I care about what you're carrying right now. And so I'm going to sacrifice you. So after 3 pregnancies, my body was depleted. My hair was falling out. My hormones were off. I was bloated all the time. I was on the verge of Crohn's disease. I had no energy. Literally, my stomach would be bloated with food that I ate 5 hours ago, and it wasn't digesting. And I didn't know what was going on. I was always crampy. And like I said, my hormones were off. So I start going to the Western medicine route, and they gave me no answers. I had tubes up me, down me, around me, and they just said, oh, you've got IBS. And I said, well, that's a cop out. I'm not going to settle for that. And I found a natural practitioner who uses something called the SCIO machine, which is it uses scalar technology and scans your body for 10,000 items and gives you feedback, whether it's where your hormones are, where your vitamins and minerals sit, what the highest risks are in your body, where your kidneys and liver are functioning, your gallbladder, your digestion, everything you want to know. And so it was like peeling an onion. I will never forget that first appointment. My practitioner said some things to me, and I just started crying because I thought, finally, somebody understands how I feel.
Wow.
So we started peeling that onion, getting my hormones back, getting my digestion back, teaching me how to physically, how important that physical foundation is before I worked on my mental state, because I was not a depressed person, but it's hard to keep your mood up when you feel so bad. And I had people around me saying, "Oh, Sarah, you need to get on Prozac or whatever." And I said, "No, I'm not depressed. I just don't feel good. I don't have energy. My body's not working for me." So as we started going down that rabbit hole of healing me, um, I had I have 3 kids, and my oldest son, Jackson, at the time was 9 years old, 3rd grade. And he was a smart kid. He loved sports, but all of a sudden he just started not wanting to go to a 20-minute swim lesson. His grades went from A's to D's, and his teacher's like, what's going on with your son? And his color was turning yellow. And it's not like he had the flu or the cold. It was something bigger. So we scanned him, and the practitioner said, "Sarah, I want you to go get a blood test. I want you to also do live blood cell, where you put the blood underneath the microscope and see it right there and then. And he didn't tell me what he saw on the scan. He didn't want to frighten me. And so when we went to the live blood cell, the blood was extremely acidic. There was a lot of toxins in it. There was no nutritional value to the cells. There were so many nutritional deficiencies showing up. And then we go to the shot of cells that look like stars, essentially, and those were the cancer cells. And she says, he's got leukemia. And if you don't do something about this right now, we are going to be in a serious position in a year. And
What was your first initial reaction right there?
Oh God. Well, my son was sitting right next to me, staring at me, and I started tearing up, and he said, "Mom, why are you crying? You're going to fix me." And it was that moment that I thought, you know what? I am. And I'm not going to stop at anything, because my health means nothing to me compared to my child's. And I put myself on the back burner, and I thought to myself, there are so many kids out there and so many people that don't know how to heal themselves and have put their power in the hands of doctors that don't have the time to give them what they need. It's not their fault. It's the way the medical system is set up. So I looked at Jackson and I said, "You're right. We're going to do this together." And he's mature beyond his years. So at the age of 9, the practitioner is sitting there telling him no more pizza and ice cream and junk food. Didn't know about the ketogenic diet back then, but I was smart enough to know you cut out the processed foods, you cut out the sugars, and you start there, and you eat quality protein and vegetables, and that's what we're going to focus on. So we did that. We also used the supplement that is now known as the accelerated scalar silver, and we used that to help his journey of healing, and improved a couple other supplements, making sure that we were filling in those gaps. And I could see my son coming back. After about 3 months, we sat down for the report card session, and she says, "I'm not even paying attention to those grades a couple months ago. That was not your child. He's back." And he was looking forward to his sports sessions, and his energy was good. His color was back. He was performing in school. He was happier. And he was really good about saying, "Mom, should I eat this? What can I eat here? He really cared about the way he was eating. Now, it didn't hurt that he was a pretty skinny kid at the time and wanted to build muscle like most boys do. So that helped. So then we're moving forward, and a year later, I knew he was doing better, but I needed another blood test. And we put the blood underneath the microscope, and I had tears of joy. The blood not only had 0 signs of cancer cells, not one, which there's cancer cells in you and me. There's cancer cells in everybody.
Right.
But the cells were dark and circular and plump and healthy looking. They were alkaline. The environment was alkaline, and that's something that I really want to talk about is that something about the silver is that it makes the blood alkaline, which is a place where foreign pathogens can't survive, or they have a hard time surviving. The cancers and the pathogens like viruses and bacteria really need an acidic environment to proliferate, and same with candida and fungus and all of those things. They feed off of that environment. So the silver made his cells very alkaline and allowed the nutrients to get into the cells. So he wasn't even eating much more nutrients or the daily basic multivitamin, but nothing, over the top. It's just that his body was actually absorbing what he was taking in for the first time. And those tears were of joy. And he looks at me and he goes, "Mom, I knew you were going to fix me. I don't understand why you're so surprised." So it was really an amazing feeling. And it was at that point that I knew I was in control of my health, and I was in control of my family's health. And from that point on, I knew that God had put me into a position to help other people.
I'm here.
Okay, are you there? Hold
Yeah.
on. I don't know what happened to my screen. Okay. Sorry, my screen went out.
That's okay. I still hear you and see you. Yeah.
Okay. So I took it upon myself to create this company to help others. I had friends that were giving steroids and antibiotics to a 2-year-old for the common cold, things that were just outrageous. And I then looked at every single challenge in my life, whether it was health or otherwise, as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to help someone else. And since that point, it's been really interesting how God works, because I would have one child that may have a UTI or a kidney issue, and I had to dive deep into the health of the kidneys. And within a week, I had 2 or 3 people come to me and say, "Gosh, Sarah, do you know what I should do for kidney issues or bacteria in my kidneys?" And I fast forward to here I am on my journey in increasing my health, and I'm feeling pretty good. 2015, and I was in a car accident. I was rear-ended at 50 miles an hour at a stop sign, and my daughter was in the car with me, and we were rear-ended, and my body goes into shock, and my daughter's freaking out because she sees blood all over me. I didn't even realize that this had happened. Well, my eye hit the steering wheel, and I needed 4 layers of stitches in my eyelid. So at that point, I'm thinking in my mind, because I'm a type A personality, I wonder if I can go to yoga tomorrow morning.
That's the first thought you had.
That's the first thought I had. But then, because my head didn't hurt yet, because I was in shock and adrenaline was pumping, I go to the emergency room, I get my eye stitched up. And first off, the doctor gives me an antibiotic, a topical and one orally, to make sure that I don't get sick. Well, I throw those away. I put the silver on my scar topically and internally. I start taking my collagen supplement and putting it on my eye. And there's a before and after picture on my website of my eye healing beautifully within 10 days. And here I am. I'm now 44. I'm on camera, right? And you'd think that a female would be very self-conscious of a scar on their face. It's not even something I look at in the mirror, because it's gone. And it's just amazing how quickly my body healed from that car accident. But that was the physical part. 3 weeks after the car accident is when the headaches and the mental disruption and the depression and the anxiety started happening. I couldn't remember to wash out the shampoo out of my hair. I remember sitting, trying to write the market list and crying because I couldn't get to item 2. And I'm a girl that was getting A's at Stanford University, and now I can't write a market list. And I thought, oh my God, I am just going to go downhill. I'm in my 30s, and it's just going to get worse and worse with age. That is when I came across keto. and I was already eating a low carb diet. But the advent or the introduction of keto to my brain was just like jet fuel.
Mm.
And I'll never forget the first few days of being on a keto supplement where I thought, my God, my problems are 20 feet away from me. They're not smacking me in my face. And yes, it's great for fat loss and it's great for physical energy and performance. But at the time, all I cared about was the brain fog lifting and my mental energy back and getting my memory back and the swelling down, all of these things that were happening so quickly. It was just eye-opening and I could not stop talking about it. And I started getting my kids and my husband on it and talking to my clients about it. And it was just so eye-opening as far as the benefits for everybody, regardless of if the person had arthritic pain or they were the athlete at 6% body fat but needs to increase their performance, or they're a child with ADHD and just needs to study better. All of these things were just hitting me left and right. And so I go back to, I was doing great. I had a car accident that put me in a place where I needed to feel and see the difference that something could do for me in order to fully appreciate and have a passion in helping other people through the process. And I also, just a quick story, 6 months later, this client comes to me and she's severely depressed, suicidal, a thin person, not someone that needs to lose weight. And she starts telling me about all of the things going on. And at the very end, she goes, yeah, and then there was that car accident. And I said, what? And she said, oh yeah, I was rear-ended and my head hit the steering wheel and things got a lot worse then. And I go, oh my gosh, there you are again. The universe is using me to help others. And it was just one more reminder that I have to be open to what's going on and to help others and use me as that tool.
Mm. Well said, Sarah. Yeah, I love that. You're so right. If somebody watching this or listening to this right now is going through a challenge, that could be why. God is using you right now. And sometimes, you have to break something in order to build it back up stronger and better than ever before. And that's exactly what happened with you. I loved that your son said, "You're gonna fix me, mom." I mean, what a mindset at the age of 9 years old. That is such an incredible mindset. How old is he right now?
He's 18. So that child that had leukemia at the age of 9, as a sophomore in high school, broke the national record in crew. And he has not been sick with the cold or flu or the current virus in 9 years. He has not missed a day of school. If he missed a day of school, it was because he was a little tired. And I said, okay, it's okay. But he has not been sick once. Not one of my children have been on antibiotics in the last 9 years since we found the accelerated silver. They take it every day. They do all my marketing. They're putting their masks on and going out and doing all of my errands for me now. And they're thriving, all three of them. My daughter, she was one that really she did not have cancer, but she did have anemia and very tired all the time and just compromised immune system. If she got sick, she'd be sick for 3 weeks, where my other two kids would be sick for a couple days. And through this process, she's now on the crew team, working out every day, and straight A student and a strong girl. And so all of these things that I always say, God has given me 5 very different constitutions in my household with my husband and my 3 kids, so that I need to know about all of these issues. She's got her blood issues and anemia and asthma and allergies. My youngest had issues with ADHD a little bit and some learning issues. And my husband has heart issues and sinus issues and things that I've never had to deal with. So we all have these different issues that has made me become an expert in every area.
It's so interesting, and the story is powerful because I always preach the story that not the story, but the fact that the human body is incredible. We were designed to thrive, not just get by and survive and create disease. When we have disease, there is dis-ease, there is dysfunction, and it doesn't just show up overnight. There's a cause, and then it develops over time as an effect. So if you could identify what is the interference, what is interfering with the body's capability to heal, and then you remove the interference like you did with yourself, like you did with your son, then the body begins to heal. And your son is the testament of that, from being 9 years old, diagnosed with leukemia, not doing well in school, struggling, and then now 18 years old, and he's such, an intelligent kid who's doing some cool things with sports. That's a testament to how powerful the body is. So thank you for sharing your story and your son's story. It's very, very powerful, Sara.
Yeah. It's something that I carry with me all the time, and he's so appreciative, which is also very nice to know that even to this day, he always says, "Thanks, Mom."
Oh, I love that. So let's stay on the topic of keto. You've interviewed a lot of individuals, brilliant people in the space on your podcast and your YouTube channel. What are some of the commonalities you've seen for those who teach keto? Because keto is very popular. People are doing it. They're teaching it. A lot of people I've seen teach it backwards in the sense that they teach you how to just lose fat, lose weight with keto, but they're not really teaching you how to use keto as a health tool. So what are the commonalities you've seen for those who you have interviewed who do teach keto as a health tool?
That's a good question. I would say number one, I would say a lot of people progress from paleo to keto, and that might be the easier way so that you're not hitting that keto flu as much. I also think that exogenous ketones are a great way to start out and kick your body into ketosis so that you can say, okay, now I feel like I can actually do this. Most people will say that intermittent fasting is an important part to incorporate when you're in keto because it allows you to stabilize that blood sugar, stabilize the insulin levels so that keto is easier to achieve. I would say that I really have focused on supplements and tools to use so that you get into that keto state quicker and you don't get the keto flu and you become more keto adapted. So you feel like you can do this. You see the benefits with the reduced inflammation throughout the body, the stable mental and physical energy, that brain fog lifts, and you're healing your gut. Most people nowadays are walking around with leaky gut, and leaky gut is something that it's hard not to have with the environmental toxins that we are exposed to and the ingredients in some of the foods that we have, even the healthy foods. As I've been on this journey of keto, and as I said, that all five of us have a very different constitution, I realized that all five of us, and this is something that I learned from Terry Cochran. I don't know if you know who she is, the Wilditarian Diet, but she talks about the individuality of your genetic makeup. And even though I'm keto, I actually have a hard time processing fat. So I have to take a supplement to help with my fat processing. And I focus on more of a higher protein diet, but then I stay in ketosis with a ketone supplement and then intermittent fasting. And even when I'm eating a little less than the typical ketogenic level of fat in my diet, my ketones are there and I'm staying in ketosis. My one daughter she thrives on a ketogenic diet. She actually has a propensity to become insulin resistant. So too much sugar, too many carbs is really damaging to her. My son, great on a ketogenic diet. Of course, burning the amount of fuel he burns, he can get away with eating a little more carbs than the typical person.
Definitely.
Extremely active.
I want to briefly interrupt this interview with Sara to direct you to this episode sponsor. We have two sponsors, Purity Coffee, which is hands down the cleanest source and the best tasting source of coffee beans you're ever going to find. They've been tested for heavy metals and mold, and they are free of both. And you can find them down below by heading to ketokampcoffee.com and using the coupon code KETOKAMP at checkout for 10% off. Also, pure form is the best alternative to fish oil. We know that 83% of fish oil is rancid on the shelf before you even consume it. And pure form is a plant-based omega, which is the best alternative to fish oil. You could find their link down below with a coupon code for them as well. Let's get back to the interview with Sara.
So everyone is a little different, but we're all within the ketogenic range where our body goes in and out. I used to think that you needed to be in ketosis 24/7 forever. I don't believe that anymore, especially with females. I think it helps with the hormonal balance to go in and out a little bit. I've noticed that when I was in ketosis for too long without breaking it, that my metabolism actually slowed down a little bit. I think in the beginning, it actually can speed up your metabolism because your body obviously is not in starvation mode, right? It learns that, oh my gosh, I've got all of these fat stores that I can start burning on my body. So you are eating the proper amount of protein, the vegetables, and you are quote unquote snacking on your own fat stores to stay in ketosis. But with the time, I've noticed that when I incorporate a few more carbs, I actually get a better result. I feel my metabolism go up, my thyroid go up, and the burn be a little more. So that's something that I've been toying with and playing with a little bit more. But I would say in general, across the board, no one is going to argue that you need to get rid of the processed foods. I would say that I am of the camp where you don't eat dirty keto. You even need to probably stay away from the conventional beef and chicken. And that was something that I just learned about the amyloids that are in those meats that can be very damaging to the body. And even some of the oils like canola oil can be more damaging than sugar itself. So if you're eating the wrong types of oils and fats, you can still be inflaming the body and damaging the body. So as I push a ketogenic diet, I also try to incorporate some supplements that are anti-inflammatory, anti-aging. As I'm 44 years old, about to be 45, I'm all about anti-aging, which keto is definitely a huge part of.
Yeah, it is, and I agree with you when you said that you don't believe that long-term strict ketosis is healthy. I don't believe that either, and especially for females. Yeah, in the beginning, for sure, be disciplined, reset the metabolism, teach your body to burn fat instead of sugar. But once you've done the work, then you have earned that badge to practice what I call keto flexing, which is actually the name of my new book. And especially if you are a cycling woman, to get out of ketosis right before the monthly period makes a big difference for that monthly cycle. So there's so many variations here, and keto you could get into ketosis in two ways. You could eat a whole bunch of fat, and some people do struggle to break down the fat, like yourself, Sara. So you probably take something with like ox bile or something to help you stimulate some bile. You could get into ketosis that way by eating a whole bunch of fat, or you could just practice intermittent fasting and just drop your carbs low. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to eat the fat, because you said you could snack off your body fat, right? And a lot of people don't get that. You have a choice: either get your calories from the food or get it from your body fat. So there's a choice there. I love what you share there with those keto hacks. So thank you for sharing that. Let's transition now into a topic that you said you wanted to discuss, which was frequency-based healing. What exactly is that? How does it work?
Okay, so this is something I've been really passionate about, and I go back to the day that my practitioner found the leukemia in my son, and that was with a skio machine. So I've been working with the skio machine for about 15 years. And this machine scans your body. It's through quantum physics, and it uses the scalar waves of Nikola Tesla. So what that means is that it's through energy. It is detecting and diagnosing what is going on in your body, and then it can send frequencies into the body to balance them out or cancel them out. So with that, there's a lot of machines out there, PEMF machines. I've got, on my website, you can read all about about a few of them, but there's so many out there. Rife was one of the pioneers. Tesla was one of the pioneers of these frequency-based healing situations. The AMP coil is a PEMF machine that you can get diagnosed and then do a quote unquote journey where it can help balance out your brain waves, calm you down. It can do a cleanse on your liver. It can do a cleanse on a parasite or candida or even the virus, that sort of thing, just through frequency. And then there's one where you actually download an app to your phone called the Genius app, where it diagnoses where your minerals and your vitamins and where your brain waves are. How did you sleep last night? All of these things. And then it balances it out with these frequency-based healing frequencies. So we have taken that concept and actually embedded some of the supplements at Accelerated Health Products with those frequencies. So for instance, the Accelerated Scalar Silver. So we have taken the silver to, sorry about that. My screen keeps going out.
Oh, that's okay. I still see you and hear you, by the way.
Okay. It's never done that before. Anyways,
it's all good.
The Accelerated Silver is not just a colloidal silver. It is both a physical product with the smallest silver particle size possible, which is very important, because if you are taking a silver product with big, large colloids, the cells can't absorb it. It's not going to do any good. But then we put the energy frequencies, the scalar frequencies, into the product that has additional healing properties to boost the immune system and help cancel out any of the negative frequencies of foreign pathogens like viruses and bacteria. So that's the silver. And we've done it the same with the Accelerated Gold. And gold has been known for thousands of years as a supplement to calm your brain, help with sleep, actually increase IQ. So what we've done with that one is we've embedded it with the scalar frequencies to increase the anxiety, calming nature of the gold and help with sleep, in addition to what gold already does. And like for the iodine, so we have Acceleradine, most iodine supplements, and iodine is something that is not given enough notoriety because it is the number one determinant of depression. And 96% of the United States is deficient in iodine. So
96%.
So if you are not taking an iodine supplement, you are deficient. It's no longer in our food supply. And if you're getting it from your seafood or from that source, a lot of that is toxic because of the nuclear fallout and from Chernobyl and Fukushima. So, and most iodine supplements are also diatomic, meaning the iodine is attached to another molecule. So your body then has to use energy to break them apart to utilize that iodine. So getting iodine from iodized salt is a waste. And most salts are full of plastics anyways. So this iodine is not only 100% monoatomic, meaning it's one atom of iodine, but it is actually scalar charged to detox the body further from heavy metals and things like bromide and chlorine and fluoride, things that are in our waters and that are in our environment. Like, well, I'm in California and we're having fires right now. So what they do is they use bromide to put the fires out. And thank God they're using something that's going to work. But what am I breathing in the air? I'm bringing into my body one of the 12 most deadly toxins in the world. So what I do is I dose up on my Acceleradine to kick out those toxins. Because if your body is deficient in iodine, those iodine receptors will get filled with the fluorine, the chloride, and the bromide. And if you go back to your chemistry class in high school, those 4 items are in the same family. And so they all look alike. So those receptor sites in your thyroid or even in your breast tissue for women, there's 200 I'm sorry, there's 4 times the amount of receptor sites for iodine in breast tissue than in your thyroid. So people think of iodine and they think of thyroid and metabolism. Yes, it's super important, but iodine is needed in every part of the body. Just by taking enough iodine, you are decreasing your risk for cancer by 50%. And iodine was used during the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic to
Ah, I didn't know that. Interesting.
to kill the flu. So
Huh.
here we are in the situation we're in, and iodine, when people say, well, what do I do to prevent to boost my immune system, and I give them 3 supplements. Number 1 is the accelerated silver, and number 2 is the acceleradine, and the third is something called my vital C, which is a carbon 60 that stops the cytokine storm that occurs with COVID and some diseases like that. So not only back to the scalar technology, so this is going to help you not only boost your immune system, boost your thyroid health, relieves depression, lifts the brain fog, it clears out the heavy metals out of your pineal gland, and that is your third eye. So it actually is the number 1 supplement for spiritual health. And we talk about keto and how that lifts the brain fog, and you can actually think in the brain, and you feel like you're in a better mental state, right? It's not just about your physical body and losing fat. It's lifting that brain fog, helping improve the GABA in your brain, the serotonin, the dopamine. Well, the acceleradine takes it to a whole nother level because it's clearing out those toxins even more so and lifting your mental state. So with that, then there's a supplement called Nuke No More, which is the most amazing thing.
Nuke no more.
Nuke No
Ah.
More, because it is charged with scalar frequencies as well to remove harmful radiation and to protect you from the electromagnetic fields. This is something that we're all becoming aware of with 5G and the smart meters and just flying. Now that when you get in a plane, the planes are using the jet stream to save gas. And with that, you are in the jet stream of all the Fukushima toxic nuclear waste and that sort of thing. So you're breathing in more and you're being exposed to more EMFs and more harmful internal radiation. So Nuke No More zeroes you out, literally takes out all of the radiation, non-ionizing and ionizing radiation, whether it's from being on your smartphone all day like we are. I mean, I'm sitting in my office and I'm looking at my computer. I've got 2 cell phones, another computer, and an iPad, and I'm just being bombarded. But I take that and it zeroes me out. And the beauty of it is you just need to go through a bottle of it and it keeps you zeroed out for quite a long time. So these are a few of the things where and there's a few more. The accelerated detox powder soaks up the toxins, but we've charged it with other frequencies to actually detox you further from heavy metals and the radiation. And it also soaks up the toxins from alcohol. And if you do decide to cheat on your ketogenic diet, it soaks that up and helps with the inflammation in your gut and helps with leaky gut, which is part of the issue that we're all trying to overcome with the keto diet.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm curious about the what did you call it? The scalar technology? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
How does that work? What if somebody wants to use that technology, this energy healing, to see what is going on in their body? How would they go about doing that?
So the thing that I'm most excited about, because it's my goal is to make things reachable to people regardless of their budget. So if you go on my website, there's something called the Genius app, and you can try it out for 15 days with no charge. It's free. And you can scan yourself, and it will tell you where your brain waves are, where your neurotransmitters are, your vitamins, your minerals, your hormones. If your testosterone's too high and you're a woman, or if your estrogen's too high and you're a man, how are you sleeping? And it goes through all of that. It will tell you where your gallbladder, your liver, your kidneys, everything's functioning. And then you can actually set yourself up on a treatment And through this, it's through sound healing. So it plays some, my family calls it the chimes. So it's like music to your ears, but it's just like if you go back to it, when you think about waves and healing waves, here we are. I'm in California, you're in Florida. We're talking through this box. We see each other. We're not physically touching. So that's how the energy works, right? So you can then set yourself up on a program where it is then playing the music that balances out the frequencies in your body. So your body is essentially an energy. We are more energy than we are material, right? And you will hear more and more about the physical energy healing versus taking supplements and through diet. You hear about those people that are breatharians that never
Yeah,
eat, right?
right.
I think that's kind of where our world's going. Am I there yet? No.
So I have a question. So you download the app, the Genius app, and then you just hold it in your hand, and it tells it'll pull up the frequencies. How does that work? Or do you have to put something around your head?
Nope. So what you do is you actually speak into it, and
Mm,
it's a voice. It's according to your voice. So your voice has frequencies in it. And as you're speaking, it takes in those frequencies from your voice and analyzes it. And then it can also analyze a picture of you to get a picture of your aura. And it will
mm.
also give you a reading of your chakras and it's just mind blowing what it comes back to.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how accurate is that? For example, if it shows that I have high estrogen, right, and then I did some blood work or I do like a Dutch test, will it correlate that? How accurate is it?
Well, it's taking a snapshot of what you are today, right?
Got it.
A blood test is going to take something that is more long term. And if you see items continually show up day after day after day, then
Mm,
it's something that your body definitely is fighting. Like, for instance, when I first got it, there was a parasite that kept showing up. And I thought, okay, is this a real thing or is it something that is just in my field? So if I'm around somebody, this is how amazing it is. If I'm around somebody and we're talking about parasites, and in my subconscious, I'm thinking about parasites, it could come up on the machine. And I don't have the parasite. That's where,
interesting.
yeah, so that's where you will.
Multiple tests.
Right. And you look at it in different ways because there's different categories that you'll see the same thing show up. Like if my neurotransmitter if my GABA is off, that's going to show up under a couple different categories. But if it's just showing up in one category, I don't pay attention to it as much. This is another amazing testimonial to it. My one daughter is under significant stress and she eats a very low carb diet, but her blood sugar was spiking. And actually, it was spiking even if she had not eaten for hours. But on the Genius app, her cortisol and her epinephrine were through the roof. And then what we would do, we would actually take her blood glucose before dinner, and then we'd take it after dinner. And her blood glucose was actually lower after dinner. Even though it was a ketogenic dinner, it should spike a little bit, right? I
Mhm.
mean, that is the normal response. But
Yeah.
what was happening with her is food and digestion was actually calming her brain down. And just like I mean, you can eat perfect, you can exercise perfect, you can do all the right things, but stress is a killer. So the stress, raising the cortisol and raising the epinephrine, were causing her blood sugar to go through the roof. So we did not need to address her diet to make her feel better or her mental state. We needed to address the stress and the cortisol and the epinephrine. And the Genius app is what really clued us in to what was going on. I knew she was stressed, but to just let her see on a screen what was physically going on in our body was amazing. And it's that biofeedback that you can take and really Look at your whole body, your physical and mental and spiritual being as one. And you're not just going after that physical health.
Very cool share right there. I always talk about how cortisol raises glucose and it could knock you out of ketosis, and that's a perfect example. So I'm going to do the Genius app. I'm curious to see what it shows for me. I'm going to have my girlfriend do it as well. What is your website, Sarah?
acceleratedhealthproducts.com. And if anyone has any issues themselves and want to email me directly, I'm happy to put together a protocol or answer any questions for them.
And what's your email?
Sara, Sara, at acceleratedhealthproducts.com. And that's ACC.
We'll put that in the podcast notes. We have Rachel who puts all that together. So we'll put all of your resources, your social media, your YouTube, including your website and your email in the notes of the podcast, and then the YouTube video, it's down below. As we land this plane, Sarah, what are the final words you want to share for the keto campers?
I would just say, I always go back to, why am I doing this? I'm doing this especially now with what we're going through and with some of our powers being compromised, is you are in charge of your own health. And I want to give you your power back, and you can heal yourself. Every single part of your body, every single chronic disease you can heal. You can heal it. The only issue that you can't change are your dental health, so take care of your teeth. But other than that, you can heal your body regardless of what chronic disease you may have.
Powerful message, and I align with that 100%. So, Sarah, thank you for shining that light into the world, and the world needs that message right now more than ever. Thank you for healing yourself, healing your family, and sharing it with the rest of us. I'm grateful for your work. I'm grateful that we connected, and this was such a powerful conversation. So those of you watching and listening, share this with your friends, with your family, and go check out Sarah's work. We're going to put all of her information down below. So Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the Keto Kamp Podcast.
Thank you so much, Ben. It was such a pleasure.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Sarah. Go check out the links and the resources down below. Go check out her work, her products. We'll put all that down below for you. I also want to direct you to a 10-part series on keto to really help you understand how this can be a powerful tool for reducing inflammation, increasing energy, and helping you feel like a rock star. Click on the tab right here on this video to watch my 10-part series. Learn all about keto. I'll see you in that next video.